All right, so again, we're going to dive into chapter 1.5, graphing circles. We have two goals for today. We're going to write the standard form of the equation of a circle, so easy. And then number two, we're going to find the center and radius of a circle from an equation in general form. Again, not too bad. As I take a look, the equation of a circle in standard form looks like this. You've seen this in geometry class. It's just been a while. It's x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared, and that equals r squared for you pirates out there, okay? H and k is for your center, and then r is for the radius. It's been a while since we talked about circles. Remember, radius is from the center to the outside of the circle. That distance is always a positive, okay? So they're going to go through and they're going to say, okay, here's my formula. And they're going to say, okay, here is your radius of 9. And they're going to tell you where the center, your h and k is. The first thing that I want you to do is use the tool and graph it. So I plot my center down. And then all I got to do is count left, right, up, and down 9 values. So I'm going to go up 9, to the right 9. I'm going to go left 9-ish. And I'm going to go down, okay? And now I'm going to make my best circle. Again, in my math lab, it's going to be super easy to do. Okay? By hand, try to make them curved. Do your best. And forget the rest. So not my best work, but that gives you the idea of what a circle should look like with the center of 0, 0, and a radius of 9. Okay? Now, you also should be able to come up with the equation. So I'll write that standard form again. And now we just plug and chug. We got h and k is 0, 0, so I've got x minus 0 squared. Again, I'm showing a lot of work. Y minus 0 squared equals 9 squared. If you want to jump right to this, x squared plus y squared, perfect. And that equals 9 squared is 81. Okay? So final answer is x plus y squared equals 81 for this circle. Okay? This is, again, standard form. If you ever are given an equation now, you should be able to tell that if you're missing any, parentheses around the quantity squared, then you should know that is a 0 for h and k. And whatever this number is, make sure you square root it to get the radius, in this case, of 9. Okay, so if they give you this, you should be able to come up with the graph. If they give you an equation now, we should be able to go backwards. So let's see that one more time with a different center. So I've got example 2. I have a radius of 5, and I have a center of -1, 2. So I'm going to go ahead and plot that. I'm going to go over 1, up 2, 1, 2. There's my center. And then from my center, I'm going to count up, down, left, and right my radius. So I'm going to count up 1, 2, 3, 4 to the 5. Right 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Down 2, 3, 4, 5. And to the left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have nice, pretty. Let's see if I can make a better one here. Oh, not my best, but not bad. Better than the other one. So I have a nice, pretty circle now. Okay. And I got to come up with the equation. So I'll write out this formula for us. So I go ahead and plug in. So I've got x minus -1. So that's x minus the -1 is plus 1 quantity squared, plus y minus 2 quantity squared. And that equals 5 squared. And we know 5 squared just simplifies 25. Okay, so again, this is standard form of a circle. Standard form. Okay? So if they give you an equation now, when you grab the h and k, notice that it is opposite of what you see. If you see x plus 1, That's really x minus a negative 1. The h is the opposite of what you see. So if you see y minus 2, the k value is really positive 2. Okay? And again, whatever this guy is, don't forget to square root it. A lot of times on homeworks and quizzes and stuff, I would see people with a radius of 25. That's crazy. That's way too big. Normally, your radiuses are anywhere from 1 to 10 usually. Okay, so if you're making a huge circle, oh my gosh, that's way too big. So don't forget to square root that value. All right, all right. Do you guys have any questions with basic graphing of a circle? Hopefully remember that from Gian. John, you remember that? Cynthia, Kaylee? It's been a while, but you guys seen that before? All right, let's get on to the harder part. If they give you a circle, then we should be able to find the center, the radius, and write in standard form the equation. Okay? So the first thing I notice is that the center is lying right on this line. And if I take a look, that's a vertical line. Notice the x values are all the same. So that is going to have a center of -1 something because it's lying on the line, x equals -1. And then I take a look over here. This is a horizontal line. And notice the y values of the horizontal line are both the same. They're both 3. So I know my center, my h and k, is going to be -1, 3. Up and down, the x values are the same. And then side to side, the y values are the same. Okay? The next thing I got to be able to do is identify what the r is, the radius. So I'll take a look. Okay, here's my center, and here's the point, -1, 3 and -1, 7. What's that distance? Well, I could go back to what we learned in chapter 1.1 and do distance formula, which I don't want to do. Okay, but you could. What all I have to do is I got to count. I'm at -1, 3. I got to get up to -1, 7. How many steps is that? Well, how far is 3 to 7? And y'all would probably say 4 if you had your mics on. Okay, so from 3 to 7, this is -1, 3, this is -1, 7. That distance is 4. Or this is -1, 3, and this is 3, 3. From -1 to 3 is a distance of 4. That's my radius. Okay, and then finally, for the center, it's x minus a -1 is +1 squared. So the equation is y minus 3 quantity squared, and then 4 squared is 16. So my quantity squared, and then the radius squared. That's easy peasy. Okay. Last but not least, what you've all been waiting for, Mr. Gotsch, where does this get hard? This one gets hard right here. This is where it's difficult. Okay. I've got x squared plus y squared plus 4x minus 6y plus 12 equals 0. That is called general form. Okay? General form of a circle is basically this, just it's been foiled out and then everything moved to the left. So imagine foiling both of these and then subtracting 16, getting equal to 0. Okay? That's what general form is compared to standard form. Standard form is awesome. It gives me my center and my radius, makes it super easy to work with. General form is literally good for nothing. So, in class, I would say, okay, how do you get this to look like this? How do you make this nasty thing look like this thing so that I can pick out my center, my radius? Any suggestions? Any ideas? How do I get this guy to look like this guy? And you all would say what? Any ideas? How do I make this look like this? Yes, we're going to do some factoring. And what did you say, like group them or something? I didn't remember what you said. No, this is good. So this is what I'm going to suggest. Let's move this guy over. I'm going to subtract the constant over. And we're going to do some factoring, but not quite yet. So I'm going to group my x's, leave some room, and then I'm going to group my y's and leave some room, and I have that negative 12 over. All right. Do you guys remember what it's called when we go from this to this and we get a quantity squared? Do you remember what that's called? We did it in A6. Pretty sure I told you it's never, ever going to go away. How do we get this to look like that? Oh, yeah, buddy. We are going to complete the square. Very good. We're going to take our b, we're going to divide by 2 and square it. Awesome. So we're going to take 4, we're going to divide by 2 and square it. So we're going to take the linear term, the term with just an x value. We're going to divide that 4, the number in front, the coefficient, divide by 2 and square it. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 2 squared is 4. If I add it to one side, whoa, it's not equal anymore unless I add it to the other side. Whoa, now it's equal. Okay? Any questions on where I got the 4 from? You got to do it again for the y's. I take the b value, in this case, negative 6. I take negative 6, I divide by 2 and square it. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3, and negative 3 squared is 9. Niner. So I'm going to add 9 pounds over here. Whoa. It is no longer equal. I got to add it over here. Now, yeah, buddy. It's equal. So, watch what we did so far. We've moved our constant over. We subtracted. Somebody said we're going to have to factor, and I said, yes. We got to group these together so that we can complete the square, and now we can do that factoring. Remember, if you add it to one side, you got to add it to the other side. Okay? All right, teach me how to factor. Teach me how to factor. Let's factor this guy. What are factors of 4 that add up to 4? Factors of 4 that add up to 4 are 2 and 2. So write it as x plus 2, or I prefer write into x plus 2 quantity squared. That's why it's called completing the square. We do it again. We group these two together. What are factors of positive 9 that add up to negative 6? What do you guys get on that one? Factors of plus 9 that add up to negative 6. Negative 3, yeah. So that's y minus 3 and y minus 3, or y minus 3 quantity squared. Good job, Caleb. And then finish up by adding these guys together. 9 plus 4 is 13. 13 minus 12 is 1. So we took something that was in general form. We did a little work, moved our constant over, regrouped, completed the square for each one, factored, simplified, and now we got it in the standard form. Standard form is great because now I can pick out my center. Remember, it's opposite of what you see in parentheses. That's a negative 2, positive 3, and their radius, whatever this thing is. If that was 100 square root of, you'd have 10, but it's 1. The square root of 1 is 1. So now I got my center and radius. All right, you guys want to see one more, or do you want to be done? You guys are like, one more. Give me one more quick one. Should I do this one lightning fast? Can you follow along? If I do it lightning fast, I know you guys want to get out of here. If I have numbers in front, notice they're all divisible by 2. So if you do run into sums that have a 2x squared and a 2y squared, just divide everything by that number. And now we have x squared plus y squared plus 8x plus 6 equals 0. Excuse me, 4x. And that's now 3. I forgot to divide, silly Mr. G. So 8x is now 2, divided by 2 is 4x, 6 is now 3. So now I'm going to go ahead and move that constant over like we just did, and I'm going to group my x's together. And you'll see we're almost done, guys. So now I have x squared plus 4x, and I have a y squared, and then equals -3. We go through the process. We take our b, we divide by 2 and square it. In this case, I take 4, divide by 2 is 2, squared is 4. Whoa. Whoa. Add it to both sides. Common mistake, people, whoa, don't do that. They forget to add to both sides. We factor. Same thing we just did, x plus 2, or x plus 2 squared. And then we try to complete this square, but there is no linear term. Well, that means we can't do anything for that one. It is what it is. It's done already. And then -3 plus 4 is 1. My center, my h and k, opposite of what I see in parentheses, that's -2. And if you don't see parentheses, all it is a 0. And then your radius is 1. Final answer for that one. Ladies and gentlemen, we just finished chapter 1.5 notes. Do you guys have any questions? Anything at all? No questions.